Hi, I'm Mark Straub, CEO of Smile ID. Over the past year, fraud has evolved rapidly, becoming more sophisticated, more targeted, and harder to detect. But our 2025 fraud report highlights the key challenges facing businesses, particularly in financial services, where the stakes are higher than ever, and we share with you what you can do about it. In this video, I'll explore the three major trends shaping the fraud landscape. First, on everyone's mind, AI and deepfakes. Second, we'll talk about security attacks and insider-assisted fraud. And finally, I'll touch on identity farming and the complex web of money laundering that we're seeing today. These tactics hit financial services the hardest, but any business that handles high-value information or data or transactions needs to take proactive steps to protect themselves. Generative AI and deepfakes. This is one of the most alarming developments of 2024, the rise of generative AI. Fraudsters are using AI tools to rapidly create highly realistic deepfakes, making it easier to manipulate digital identities and bypass verification systems. Last year, we saw deepfake attacks surge sevenfold, representing nearly a third of all attempts at biometric fraud. Fraudsters leverage these tools to take over accounts, commit identity fraud, and carry out unauthorized transactions. But as technology evolves, so have we. At Smile ID, our latest biometric solutions now include active, dynamic, on-device liveness detection, combining device intelligence, algorithms, and AI to counter generative attacks and maintain trust in our systems. Attacks on financial services. The rapid digital transformation of banking and fintech has expanded the attack surface, exposing vulnerabilities in security infrastructure. Thieves no longer need to break into a bank vault. They just need to find the weakest link in your core banking system. Digital infrastructure is critical, but many firms find that maintaining it is expensive and challenging. This creates gaps for bad actors to exploit. And some examples that we see include phishing scams to steal individual login credentials, including that of bank staff, unsecured or exposed repositories where your code or credentials or keys can live, little or no training on modern security practices during onboarding or offboarding of key team members or their devices. In our report, we have a dedicated section on strategic defenses you can put in place to protect yourself and your institution. Finally, I want to talk about identity farming and insider-assisted fraud. Identity farming is emerging as a challenging new threat because it often makes use of real information and real people to defeat traditional ID verification practices. Fraudsters collect personal information on real people through phishing or data breaches or even outright purchase. The data is used to create synthetic identities or take over existing real accounts. Sometimes bad actors even pay vulnerable or unsuspecting people to participate in their crimes. In regions with limited oversight, these farmed identities are often used to open accounts, which then become channels for money laundering because they are linked to banks or telecoms. Compounding this issue is insider assistance. Employees inside financial institutions sometimes share credentials or bypass security systems, giving fraudsters an insider's edge in identifying and accessing high-value accounts. As money moves through these networks, from multiple accounts, fintech platforms, crypto wallets, even POS withdrawals, these transactions are obscured of their origins. Each transaction adds a layer of anonymity, making it difficult for authorities to trace the original source. And even when fraudulent accounts are flagged or frozen, the true perpetrators can remain hidden behind these farmed identities. And this creates a major challenge for financial institutions and regulators attempting to identify and prosecute the fraudsters. So what's the path forward? We need to stay ahead of fraud. And while the fraud landscape is changing, businesses can stay ahead with the following right strategies. Use a risk-based approach to onboarding and transaction monitoring. And for higher risk transactions, include second-factor biometric authentication with liveness checks. This is critical for protecting high-risk activities such as password resets, new device logins, email resets, or large transactions. It helps ensure that only legitimate users gain access. If you're in a market with high risks of money laundering, use anti-money laundering checks to vet individuals against global and local sanctions and watch lists. We saw adoption of these checks increase by 20% in the last 6 months of 2024. They are critical to getting countries and banks off of international gray lists. Put in place international best practices for security and scalability and data handling and only use providers who undergo annual ISO and SOC 2 certification. To dive deeper into these insights and discover actionable strategies to protect yourself, download the 2025 Fraud in Africa report using the link on the screen or in the caption below.